Some years ago, I went to a play on Broadway called The Gospel of Mark. An English actor, Alec McCowan, came on stage alone. He put a copy of the New Testament on the table, just in case, he said. And then he proceeded to tell the whole story of Mark's Gospel, just as was written, from memory. It was a wonderful experience, listening to the Gospel story unfold in its entirety. Of course, we usually read the Gospel of Mark and the other Gospels too, bit by bit. This Sunday, for example, we're reading the episode about Jesus calling Peter and Andrew, James and John. But reading bit by bit, we can miss the excitement, the sweeping movement, the rush of life that a gospel like Mark says that Jesus brings. So let me try to put our story today in a larger perspective that Mark wants us to see in his gospel. So it's the beginning of the day, the first day that Jesus begins his ministry in the town of Capernaum along the Sea of Galilee. The first thing he does is to call some fishermen from their boats to follow him. And the excitement begins even as he calls them. They leave their nets. The people in the boat are startled. They don't even clean the nets. They hardly say goodbye to their father and their friends. And they go immediately into the synagogue with Jesus. It's the Sabbath day. Peter and all of those are there. The people are there. A man possessed by a demon is there. And Jesus drives the demon out of that man. And then they go back to Peter's house. Peter's mother-in-law is sick with a fever. Jesus takes her by the hand and lifts her up, and she's cured. She cooks a meal for them. But the neighbors hear about it. The word goes out. Capernaum is a town on the trade routes. The word goes out further. And Mark ends that day saying that toward evening, after sunset, they brought to him all who were ill or possessed by demons, and the whole town was gathered at the door. He cured many who were sick with various diseases. He drove many demons out. So this is an exciting day. One commentator calls it a paradigmatic day. In other words, a day you can see everything that Jesus came to do. So what can we see? Those fishermen leaving their boats. They're the first, but they won't be the last that Jesus calls to be with him and to be involved in what he does. Jesus calls everyone to follow him. He calls us. And what about the people trapped by demons? Jesus came to set people free from whatever demons holds them. What about the sick who are healed? Jesus came to bring life to everyone. And at the end of the day, the whole town is at his door. The whole world has come alive in his presence. Now, wouldn't it be wonderful to be there, we think? But we are there, that paradigmatic day. That one day becomes every day. Every day we're called to follow Jesus. Every day there are demons that have to be confronted. The sick have to be healed. Every day the world is at our door and the power of God is given to it. So you see that this gospel is not just about four fishermen who are called by Jesus to follow him and to be involved in his life and his mission. This gospel is not about a day back then or a world back then. This gospel is about us and our world and our lives today.